Welcome back to Afternoon Express live on SABC3. If you've just joined us, today we're discussing everything about education. And one of the biggest obstacles faced by many students in our country is the lack of access to quality teachers. Now, PaperVideo is an innovative social enterprise that makes use of technology to overcome this problem through the creation of educational resources that allow every student in South Africa to have easy access to quality tuition in the subjects they struggle most with. How does it all work? Well, we're joined today by the founders, Paul Marie and Chris Mills. Welcome, gentlemen. Lovely to meet you. Hi. What is PaperVideo? How does it work?
Well,
PaperVideo. PaperVideo, yes? Yes. How does it work?
But as you've said, PaperVideo was based on the belief that a good teacher can make all the difference. We all look back to our high school years and our primary school years, and you remember that teacher that inspired you to do something, that made you want to become what you are today. And as we also know, good quality teachers are not spaced all across the country. There are many students who do not have access to good quality teachers. So what PaperVideo does is it takes exam past papers, which so many students used to study from. You go through past papers when you're preparing for that exam the next day.
Yeah.
And we record a solution video for each and every question by a local experienced teacher. And we then make it possible for a student to, if they're going through a particular question, 1.1 was easy, 1.2 was easy, 1.3 was easy, 1.4, what is going on here? What I can do is I can take my cell phone with the PaperVideo app, I scan a code next to that question, and a video pops up of a teacher explaining you that particular question step by step. So it's very much a mini lesson for that question to go directly to the heart of whatever problem you're having.
Wow. And what inspired it? I hear you were talking about a teacher that inspired, students across the country, but what inspired you, gentlemen, to create this?
Okay, the inspiration came from, I guess, two general areas. The first one was we both, like many teachers out there, have also done tutoring, one-on-one private tutoring. And the thing with that is you show a kid how to do a problem, and then you go to the next kid's house and show them how to do a problem, and so forth. And every time you find yourself giving generally the same kind of explanation, coming across the same kind of pitfalls. And at some stage, it clicks that, wait a minute, why are we doing this so inefficiently? Why are we getting in our car and going to people's houses and making them pay exorbitant fees to have this one-on-one contact session when you can just pre-record all of that stuff that you're doing repetitively anyway, link it to thousands of questions, more than the kid will ever get through, and then present that to them. It's just, it's a no-brainer.
That's incredible. But what has been the success rate of PaperVideo?
Well, we've had some lovely stories since we founded in 2014. It goes from the individual stories to the large groups of students. Our favorite is with a student called Apiwe Mlungu. He studied at Wynberg High School in Cape Town, and he started using our resources only after the prelim exams that were in September last year. And the prelims didn't go so well. He got in the upper 30s, and then he spent 2 months obviously working very hard, but working very hard with the PaperVideo resources, and we were very excited to learn from him. He got in contact with us that he then ended up with 69% for mathematics. So it was a 31% jump for him. On the other end, we have gone into some very large projects with large corporates in South Africa, and we've gotten our resources rolled out to in the area of about 80 schools so far. And that includes last year where more than 2,500 students received our maths resources, and we're very excited about a statistical analysis that's just come out and shown that in comparison to schools who were not sponsored the resource, our schools improved by more than 3 times than those schools in the results last year.
That's amazing. So do you think then that this can replace the tutor?
Well,
the next couple of years.
We definitely like to think so.
Okay.
We think that tutors are a privilege that has been reserved for students and parents who are able to afford it. And we've both had experience teaching at a school called COSAT in Khayelitsha, and we want to make it possible that every single student can benefit from having an extra teacher available to whenever they want it. And with our app, for example, you can scan one of 8,000 questions so far to get a lesson on that. If you have a question about it, you can ask a question on the video as well.
Amazing.
There's a community of students through chat. It's something that we're very excited about. And we think that through technology, education will become more and more personalized.
But also through technology, I mean, not a lot of children and students in South Africa have access to technology. Then what do we do in that case?
Okay, well, with that, I think the first assumption, or not assumption, but the first observation to make is that a lot of kids, in fact, do have Android devices, the kinds of devices that can take our SD cards that
Yes.
allow them to access all of the videos without using data. And this is, we've come to see this through many of the projects that we've done in schools where, it's like, barely being held together, and you walk into a class and you say, right, everybody, like with your Android device and stuff like that, can you please go to the hall, we're going to do, and there's a few people left in the class, but the majority of them go off with their devices, pop the SD card in and start working. So the tech reality is that the majority of kids in this country now have access to some or other form of device that can be used to play our offline videos. That's only increasing. And as that increases, through that reality that's emerging, thankfully, at this stage, and corporate involvement driving the sponsorship for the resources into these schools, there's no reason why our coverage of our coverage across learners in this country should not be national. Our ultimate goal is to have every single learner in the country having access to these resources. There's no reason they shouldn't. We can literally take the tutor model, which like less than 1% of people have access to, and we can turn it into the PaperVideo model that 100% of people have access to.
Absolutely, absolutely. But, talking about technology and development and education, what other apps or other things that are happening within education apart from PaperVideo? Have you seen other sort of not apps, maybe SD cards that students are using?
Well, I can't say that we've seen too many apps that make use of the microSD card. You see, the microSD card is so that we get over that obstacle of internet connectivity and data, which is barely available to all South African students. So with our app, for example, you slap that microSD card in, you never need a cent of data again to ever watch any of the thousands of videos that we have. But there's a lot of excitement going on in the educational landscape in South Africa in terms of technology. You have very exciting companies. You have the big publishers playing a big game. You have companies that have started from small little seeds growing to massive ones. It's very exciting.
This is very exciting. Absolutely exciting. Well, congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming through and telling us about PaperVideo. If you need more information about this incredible initiative, just go to our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. But Bonnie's standing by with details about Decorex.